The most watched series ever. The most watched series ever. We're in the season finale of Power Book 2 Ghost.
Wow.
What an array of talent that's been put together over the years.
Yeah.
Some familiar faces, some faces you don't know. Some people actually anchored this series and gave it the credibility it needed from day one. People who have been in the business for a long time. 3LW, the songstress, you know it, I have to bring that up. I remember she played Lil' Kim.
Killed it.
Notorious, it was amazing.
Killed
She's
it.
been on the show to talk
Killed it.
about that.
Say what it is. She killed it.
She was incredible. I remember her in Fame.
Ooh.
I want to live forever.
No, she didn't sound like that.
You better sing.
Come on, thank you, Naturi. I appreciate you.
Let him sing. Let him sing.
Let him sing.
The client list.
Oh, Jesus.
The list goes on and on and on.
That's crazy.
I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. She's been around. She's sustained. She's been through ups and downs. She paid her dues to be where she is. Talented artist. Don't ask for nothing but acknowledgement from people. Just recognize the work.
Amen.
Never wanted the drama. She never leaned into the drama. I know. I've had her on the show plenty of times. She didn't lean into that. She wants you to recognize the talent. Multi-talented, multifaceted individual. Not just a singer, not just an actress. I'm sure she's a director, a producer. She does it all. She's a mother. So she's a CEO as well. Beautiful kids, and her husband is catching everything that she drops on the floor right now. What an amazing manager.
Oh, thank you.
The husband, Zave, is doing everything in the room right now. The water spills, he's wiping it down.
That's a team right there.
He's filming right now.
Yes, and we match. Hey, okay.
And they're matching colors.
The fits are fitting.
The fits
Tracy,
are
tell them
fitting.
who we got in here this morning.
We have Naturi Naughton. Lewis.
Don't forget the Lewis. Wow. Don't forget the Lewis, because that's married now.
You weren't Lewis last time I saw you, though.
Yes, I think I was.
You was?
Yeah, I had just got married.
Oh, you just got married.
Or, you know what? Maybe I was engaged. I wasn't Lewis.
Yeah.
Engaged,
You're right.
And
So
did you immediately change your professional name to match your personal married name?
my professional name is Naturi Naughton Lewis now. I use that. I felt like as soon as I got married, I want to celebrate, my hyphenated name.
Come on.
Give them a little, and also celebrating marriage and Black love. Why not let people know with this level of success comes a partnership and a teammate, and you can't do it alone. So
That's
You
right.
can't do it alone.
You really can't.
There's a narrative out there, though, with some young artists that I can do it alone. I can be independent, and that's,
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's true. That narrative is a perspective, but as you get older and as you mature in this business, even if it's just friendship, it's not just necessarily marriage, but a lot of our relationships are very, very important and necessary to where we end up in our careers, in our happiness, socially, professionally, spiritually, even if it's just your relationship with God. Like, come on now.
Right.
We just got to get right with him before we can love others and then love ourselves.
Should we retire the term self-made?
You know what? I think so. I've never used that term. I think when people self-made, what you mean self-made? First off, that sounds very arrogant. In my opinion, I get back in the day a self-made, like what's her name, Madam C.J. Walker, and being a self-made, entrepreneur. And in those times, it really did take independence. But guess what? The community around her who bought those hair products and said, "Oh, this is what we can do." It took Black women. So, I get the self-made concept, but I wouldn't lean into that too much, especially in today's culture. The ego, back then you could say that and maybe your ego could still stay. Now everyone's so ego-driven, social media. They actually believe that I don't need nobody. I'm out here by myself putting out these records and doing. But I'm out here doing it. But
I don't need no man.
Yeah,
I don't need no woman.
Ooh, don't get me started on the independent women thing, because that's a whole thing that I think was a misguided version of. In the 70s, they started making people think, particularly black women, that we don't need. I mean, why do you think welfare and taking black men out of the household are so important? Like, don't get it twisted. Independent women really need to be saying, I'm independent in my family, like an independent family. I'm all big on family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
On family, because to me that's an essential part of how we can grow and expand as a community. If we lean more into family instead of individualism, lean into collaboration instead of total independence. You know,
preach now.
You know, so and I'm a kid. I'm a child of that.
Me too.
70s welfare. My father couldn't be in the house. The welfare workers would come into the apartment. Like, I've literally saw this as a child.
Yeah, see, I didn't have that experience, but that's deep.
Yeah, they come in. Let me tell you, I remember a couple times vividly, a strange woman showing up to my mother's our apartment we lived at in East Oakland.
Oh, wow.
And when they knock on that door, because they wouldn't tell you when they were coming. So you had to have people in the front of the building say the worker coming, the social worker coming.
Oh, wow.
And if you had a new TV, a new leather jacket, new furniture, you had to hide it. Because they would ask you, where'd you get the money? And they would literally ask you if there's a man in the house. And if you had a man in the house,
you would get in trouble.
They would stop your funding.
Stop
Punished
your
for
support.
family.
Yeah.
Punished for, ooh.
Different.
That's deep. I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, with two parents in a home, my father and my mother, and being married. You know, they were married for 52 years before I recently lost my dad. May he rest in peace. But I know that everybody's had a different version of family. But the thing that I learned growing up is that there is no me without family. There is no community without family. There is no, black businesses and support. So all of that, interesting enough, and even when I think about the character of Tasha, like how grounded she is in family. And, obviously my husband Ghost is gone now. Yeah. But I'm supporting my son through thick and thin, and that's what family does. But to be punished in that system is a part of what we need to, I think, recognize in Black America that is actually killing our family structure and stop falling into these traps.
I love that Notorious up in
sorry.
here.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
No, you ain't got to apologize for nothing. No.
Sway, you bring it out of me, Sway. You bring it out.
You know what we do. We don't play.
Back. We intelligent up in here.
We intelligent. We always been that way.
We have always,
How has motherhood at all affected the way you play Tasha?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I became a mother season 5 of Power, the original Power. And it has changed my whole world. But perspective in this character is that I now understand why Tasha is willing to fall on her sword and do whatever it takes, and why sometimes she will push the envelope. I mean, she had to kill some people. She had to go to jail. I mean, she killed her best friend, Lakeisha.
That was crazy.
I mean,
Damn, Lala.
Lala, I love you, girl.
But La had a great death, though. She pulled that off.
She had a great death, yeah. And a lot of the deaths in Power are iconic. The recent episode, if y'all saw episode 9.
Oh, my God.
I mean, we can talk about it in a minute, but can we talk about it? I'm just like, my heart, because that's the first time I really realized what a mother's love will do. And Mary J, and it was just done the way that was shot, and Woody playing King. I was in tears for myself, and I'm thinking Tasha don't even like Monet. Tasha should be like bang bang bang. But I had to say, as Naturi looking at Mary and looking at the role of Monet, motherhood does change you, and it creates a sense of empathy for other mothers. Like the empathy that I had in realizing, like, okay, she's not perfect. She made some bad choices. She's selfish. She's not the best, but she loves her children. Yeah. And as I now became a new mother with my son, me and my husband have a 15-month-old son.
Congratulations.
Thank you. His name is True.
Congratulations.
He is so cute. Oh, my gosh. And my daughter, Zuri, who's 7, it just makes me, I think, more aware. As I step into, doing this role, I'm more aware, I'm more empathetic, I'm more impassioned. And when I think about the risk and the stakes of potentially losing my son or my daughter, and which is what I think Tasha has dealt with a lot of times, I think a lot of that comes into the character. characters that I play. So yeah, for sure.
This is great, man.
This is.
We have Michael Rainey Jr. Give that young man, a round of applause, man.
I was just with him the other night for a little farewell. I can't believe I've known him since he was 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
24
was young
now.
Tariq, him and Raina, when I had a daughter that was alive. On the show, I mean.
So
Right.
casually.
You know? But yeah, no, it's 10 years now, and I'm just happy to see him grow.
He talked about how shocked he was when 50 told him he'll be anchoring Power Book 2. Like, what did you think when you heard
remember that.
Yeah. What was that moment like?
When we found out, it was actually Courtney Kemp. Shout out to the creator and showrunner, an amazing, intelligent Black woman who started the world. But Courtney and 50, and even making the choice to spin Power off into the through line of Ghost, I was like, and to see Michael stepping into, this kind of stepping into his manhood in this world.
Yeah.
I remember even getting the call for myself. First off, I was like, "Whoo, oh my gosh, thank God for the checks," because I was sad when it was over. So thank you for the job, because at the end of the day, we're all performers, actors, just trying to work. But the other thing I remember thinking is, this is a huge responsibility. And I knew Michael was a little nervous. And I just remember telling him, you got this, encouraging him. And the thing that I think was so special is Stars gave us the opportunity to grow. Like, he didn't have to immediately be Ghost. Season 1, it was a lot of Tasha and Tariq. I was taking, the fall for him and in prison. And that relationship allowed him the chance to give him a foundation to grow. So I think Michael stepped into the role of Tariq and has become, essentially his father, the new Ghost, but it didn't have to happen overnight. And in all these seasons, we watched him every year just get better and better and better. So I'm so proud of Michael, and I'm very happy.
Give that man a round of applause, right?
My TV son.
Your TV son.
And he went from being hated to now being liked. Everybody used to come up to me and say, I can't stand Tariq. Why you didn't beat him? You should have slapped him when he said that to you. And now they're like, oh, we love him. So look at how the worlds can shift. Power is always interchangeable.
Absolutely.
You mentioned something that's so true. Like, as artists, we are trying to work as much as we love what we do, and you get projects, you fall in love with them. But then you're right. There's responsibilities at home and bills and different things like that. But now, as a married woman and a mother of 2, will you choose? I know it is crazy, but we've been here the whole time with you rocking too. I know
you didn't have no baby when we met.
I know. I was a baby when we met.
Yeah, like that part. I think it's so dope. But do you now even choose roles differently?
I guess I am more selective in depending on what the story is. I guess the objective of the story. But to be honest with you, choosing is a very strong word when there isn't much work out there. And a lot of people don't want to say, like, right now, it's not like that the way I would like it to be, in all honesty, for me and for a lot of, I think, actors in general. The industry and the art is struggling. It's not like, I remember Viola Davis saying this, and I'm thinking she just won an Oscar. So I now relate and understand, why aren't I getting offers and certain things? Like, we're always sometimes feeling like we're starting from the bottom and working our way back up again. So the opportunities, since, obviously the strike, have been slim, few and far between. However, when there are opportunities, like I just did a movie Abducted with Garcelle Beauvais, producing in Lifetime, about Black girls going missing. And that was, again, a story that, is called Abducted at HBCU. The whole point is doing stories that matter. And even if I'm on the producerial side, if I'm not in the project, I try to think of, what is this project saying? So I think you're right. Motherhood and just the awareness has made me more keen to what message am I putting, what legacy do I leave behind? And that's really what it's all about.
Dope.
I'll be remiss. My daughter is at a HBCU. Tell me about this show.
Oh yeah, it came out just last month. It's available on Amazon Prime, but it was on Lifetime on demand. Abducted at HBCU is about Black girls, particularly in the HBCU community, who got one girl got lured and caught up in sex trafficking and being stolen from her campus, and people were looking for her. And Black girls who go missing often don't get the national attention or the support, and that's a subject that we talk about in the movie.
Okay, all right.
How'd you miss it? You love Lifetime.
I know. I'm a Lifetime member.
I'm a star of it
man,
come on.
yeah.
You go back.
The title scared me.
Yeah. Be careful out here.
Sway,
It's real out here. Stuff is going down. You know.
I was just there this weekend.
Oh, really?
Spent the weekend with my child.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What school? You don't have to tell us that.
Now,
I was like, don't
I've
tell
been
us
saying
that.
it for weeks. I'm gonna stop saying it now.
Yeah.
man.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But yes, so I just try to be intentional.
Intentional,
You know?
yeah.
That's
That's real.
Yeah.
Naturi, when I think about how success brings power. Beauty can bring power, right?
yeah.
Fame can bring power, and you have all of these things in
Thank
your
you.
possession.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. Have you had over the years as you've continued to rise, how has your relationship with power changed? Because people will treat you differently too, the way that they perceive success, perceive beauty, and it can make others feel lesser than, and then all of a sudden they're just like a scramble in front of you. And on the flip side, have you ever been in a position where you've had to disarm someone that was on a power trip? Because when you're in this industry, there's a lot of
power
characters,
tripping. Oh,
there's a lot of egos. So yeah, your relationship to power and your relationship to someone who's been on a power trip.
Oh, girl. Okay.
I like how you tied that in.
Yeah, I
too.
was like, let me break that down. Okay, now I got to really use my left side of the brain and be intelligent. Okay, Seton Hall University education, come through.
Come on.
Because it's such a complex question. Okay, how have I perceived power and just the beauty and all that? What I make sure to do is remind people of our similarity, our likeness, that we are more the same than we are different. And I think power in a lot of hands, there's this idea of hierarchy and that, because, and you talk about beauty, fame, access, money. I mean, yes, some of those things may give me more access and opportunity, but really because I think I'm so rooted in my faith. Me and my husband just came back from a marriage retreat. Shout out to Montel Jordan and Kristen Jordan. Montel
and
is
Christian? They've been doing that
he has a church and he is a pastor, and him and his wife in marriage. I would just like to say that marriage retreat, the marriage masterpiece, changed my life, me and my husband, because to your point, we talked about that idea of having to be small, and I used to struggle with that. Sometimes I would feel like my light is too bright and maybe I make other people feel intimidated, or am I too much, am my personality too big, or is my desire to just be what God put in me, is that too much? It is not. And really, I don't look at it as power. I look at it as blessings. You know, really, if you are in a position to sing, like what I had in 3LW as a teenager, to act in a show that's iconic, that changed the culture like Power, to produce and start my own production company, Take Two Entertainment with my husband, all these things, it's not really my power, it's my blessing. And at the end of the day, if I utilize that leverage, of course, that's what we should do in an industry that requires you to step up. But I would look at the next person. Like, I remember meeting Ryan Coogler back in the day when he was a student in LA, and he was doing a short film called Fig, and he was like, oh, I loved you and Notorious. And now he's like Black Panther and on to the so many things. But if I took the meeting and talked to him, and you know, the movie, I didn't wind up doing his movie Fig, but one thing I learned is never underestimate anyone. Like never. And because the power is really in the gift, because somebody may not have access or the opportunity, but they have the gift. So that's one. And then the second part of your question is power tripping. There are a lot of people that do be power tripping. And in the world of power, I have encountered a lot of
power trippers,
personalities. I would just say that, thank God, you know, I was raised right. I have, you know, because the Jersey in me. Sometimes,
come on.
Sometimes people will push you, and you be like, okay, don't let my East Orange, New Jersey show out today.
Put holes in your Jeep. Ante up.
Exactly.
Get her riled up.
It's real though. But you know what I have to do? I just try to remove myself those power tripping situations. When I see it happening and I know that what it is, I recognize it, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, I see you for what it is. I now have identified what your struggle is. There must be something going on within you that makes you feel powerless. So you got to try to have power over me. God bless you.
Compensate,
Good night. And that's what it is.
Get that a round of applause for me, Torch, man. I know you will.
Grown woman.
This guy be ego tripping sometimes. He's a producer. So
You be
sometimes,
ego tripping? Come on now.
Torch, I'm just saying.
Stay humble.
Okay, all right.
That's it. Stay humble.
This is the final season, but
Yeah.
how would you, just looking back at all of this,
crazy.
how would you just, somebody said, what was this journey like? How would you answer that?
That is such a good question. The journey of 10 years on a TV show, I didn't even imagine that this would be this big and this successful, but I prayed for it. However, the journey was real. It was awesome. It was fun. I mean, I was just talking about when I was walking into with 50 and Jeff, the head of Stars, and just thinking of all the memories of being on a private jet, going to DC, being a part of politics, being able to have influence, powerful change, using my power for good.
Yes.
That's the other thing that I think has been dope. I just realized, like, this doesn't happen every freaking day.
Nope.
And you don't get an opportunity to do this. So the journey has been unbelievably amazing. Working with people like Amari Hardwick. You know, shout out to Amari.
Shout out to Amari,
You know,
man.
the original.
We cannot forget Amari.
We could never.
He set that thing off.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he
And
did.
to this day, when I watch reruns,
Yeah.
I be like, now that ghost is crazy, but amazing.
Yeah.
He delivered a performance every episode, and he made me a better actor and really a better collaborator.
That's dope.
So when you look at the original and watch all the spin-offs in the journey, we set the tone. So what I believe this journey has done is really just let me know that you do have the power to change the culture. And a black woman who is brown skinned to be the leading lady
Yes.
of
Let's
that
go.
is a huge step in a direction that wasn't always the case. So sometimes it just lets me know, oh, wow, wait. I actually am doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yes,
there
you
will
are.
be more powerful moments in my life. This isn't the end. It's the end of an era on this show. However, it's not the end of me.
Absolutely not. Naturi Naughton Lewis is here, man.
Don't forget
That was
Lewis.
amazing
Yeah,
right
it's a
there. They
joke.
dressed alike. You can't forget. He's wearing the same outfit.
Not the same.
Don't come for my husband,
No,
Sway.
no, that's
fine.
We are not wearing the same. For those who are listening, I am wearing a very cute, me, blue and white ribbed sweater dress, and my husband's just wearing white jeans and a
Is it
blue
all right if you
sweater.
get in the camera?
Of course. if
Come
you
on, come
want
over
to.
here, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, Mr. Lewis,
Come
man.
on,
Come over
Two.
here, man. Come on, bro.
Shout
Come
out
on,
to
man.
y'all got to look out
They
for
call him Two.
Take Two Entertainment is our production company,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a film that premiered at Tribeca called Color Book, and we actually are going to be screening in LA at the AFI, and we just won in France at the Deauville Festival.
Congratulations.
So shout out to Black Fathers,
Uh-huh.
and that's what the story is about, Color Book. So look out for that, Sway.
Wow.
Mr. Two Lewis, man. I want to commend you, bro, because it says a lot about you as a person to be able to be yourself, be balanced, be confident around a person that's so powerful and famous and loved like your wife, right? A lot of us have problems with that. You know, it might be
Especially men.
generational. I don't know what it is. This is how we're raised, especially with black men.
It's true.
You know, because we don't feel like we get enough acknowledgement and props as it is.
No, that's true.
Yeah. How have you? What's worked for you in keeping that balance and
How do you put up with me, babe?
and now you know and not losing yourself in the process?
Right.
No, I think before you even try to court a woman or even date or any of those things, I think that you have to find out who you are and live in your power.
Yeah, he's very secure.
You just gotta always live in your power and know who you are, and that comes from God. I think the relationships that you have from God, and knowing how you show up in the world, you don't change that for anybody.
Yeah.
Even when I met her, I had to make sure that I stood by my standards of life, not go to
did.
her standards. Because a lot of people, when they date, they try to go into the lane that their partner is in.
Yeah.
But you got to find a great teammate. You got to find a teammate that can help you win
Compliments.
a championship, and you can help them win a championship. Not stop your life and alter everything you're doing, because you're going to be miserable. You're going to be like, oh, man, I wish I can go back and do this or do that. But the whole time, if you find what God aligns with and God aligns with you, you can go win the championship and assist them in winning their championship.
Yes.
Word.
And that's the best partnership.
What's better than one billionaire?
Two.
There you go.
It's two.
And-
That's
and-
why I married.
And when you
You said I'm just saying. Ladies, get you one. Get you one.
but when you work together, it could be difficult when you're working together and you're loving together. Where do y'all draw the boundaries? Is it a place at home that you don't talk about work, or how do you do that?
We're still working on that, actually.
Yeah, we're
that's
working
really
on that
good.
because for me, I come from like more business background since I've been in here since I was like 17 doing this, and she comes from more like being the front runner of it, right? So things come to her, like projects come to her. I have to go create projects to take them to other artists, right? And so the understanding of that is a little different because I have to go out every day and try to figure things out and what can be brought to the table and things like that.
Yeah.
While she's coming on this side now as a director and as a producer, she's learning how to not just sit back more and go out. And so sometimes it is a balance where I'm coming home from the day and I'm like, all right, it's chill time. And she's just getting up. She's like, yeah, so we got to do
I
this.
want to talk about work.
We got to go. I'm like,
or dreams.
and I'm like, hey, it's our time to relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're learning
I
how
don't
to
relax well, Sway.
I
No,
could
she
tell, but I like it
I
though.
was
It's
like,
all right.
you can tell.
Yeah,
He said I can
yeah.
tell. I feel like I've always been, since a teenager,
You
it's
can
hard for me to
balance.
relax.
No, that's good though. That's good energy though,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's always good
And
energy.
it's balanced.
So it's just trying to find like the marriage retreat that we went to is finding space for each other, like making sure that we find space to incorporate not only my ways of doing life but hers as well. So you have to be able to alter, a couple of things to make sure that both people are feeling heard and seen.
Yeah, it's so good.
love
And to
this,
your
man.
point, when you talk about, how do we work together and different things, the one thing that I think, just celebrate whether it's your spouse, your partner, whatever you're doing, just like he said, remember who you are first, your individuality, but remember that you are creating because you're not going to always be here. When I think about, as I've lost my dad and thinking about what my parents did for me, the legacy that they instilled in me and that I will carry on is what we want to do for our children. Wow. So it's not just about a movie or a business venture. It's about like, what will we leave behind and showing unity to our son and daughter and showing how difficult it is, but also how rewarding it is to come out on top together is a beautiful moment that we want to leave for our children.
Yes.
I love this. I appreciate you getting on. I wanted to show
No problem, brother.
thank
I
you.
really
the
appreciate
unity.
that.
Yeah, absolutely, and who you are. And I just want the people to see who actually picked out the outfit today. So who
Shout out to this is my stylist. My stylist Harrison dressed
Her stylist
me.
dressed her.
Harrison,
Okay.
he put this
Yeah.
together.
I
and
usually
he
have to dress her every day, though. In her regular life, I do all the
he's
dressing.
actually telling the truth.
Yeah, I do all the styling for her.
who does the cooking?
I went to Catholic
I do the
school.
cooking.
Oh,
You
do the cooking
he's
too?
an
Do the
amazing.
cooking too.
Well, he's from Atlanta, Georgia. It's not fair. When you from down south and you know how to do ribs and he can grill like a grill master, like he could be on one of them shows.
Right.
Oh, you that nice?
It's
Yeah, I'm pretty
it's
nice
the
in the
most
kitchen.
incredible food I've ever tasted.
Wow.
That's why it's hard for me to stay slim, y'all. I'm working really hard. It ain't easy. This man cooks insane food.
What?
It's your fault. It's
That's
your
why you
fault
still in
that
hiding. You with me in hiding. We eating good.
Keep it
But thank God
Keep
that
it
we
on.
can eat good. But
Nah,
no,
just
he's an insane cook.
That's good to know. Naturi,
Yes.
do you miss singing?
Somebody just asked me that. I miss doing music and recording. I don't miss the music business. I
Okay.
don't really, I'm just keep
Heather.
oh.
There's only one clap right there.
Something is deep.
One clap.
There's something deeply rooted in that, and I'm gonna hear about it, sis. But what I will say is the music industry for me, it wasn't fun. It wasn't as enjoyable anymore. And now the industry has changed so much that I don't even know where.
You don't even know what it is.
I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't even, there used to be a formula.
Yeah.
There used to be a way that, okay, we know what to do, where to go, who's going to do it. Now it's just like random as heck. So I would say that singing and music, I love to infuse it in my roles. Like when I did this show Queens with Brandy and Eve, I got to rap, sing. It's a first love. Actually, even on Power, Tasha, in one of my big episodes was singing the Mary J remake of a song in a scene in season 1. So I was thinking, I tend to include music and singing into those kinds of roles. So I guess music will just have to come through either musical theater or come through film and TV. It doesn't have to be a record for me. I mean, I'm not discounting it, but the music business is not something that I feel safe in. And I think the lack of safety is why I just kind of always get disappointed. And that's just the reality. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Agreed.
Okay.
That's it, Heather. That was so public.
Yeah.
Just one
That
clap
was the
and
one
agreed.
clap and agreed. That's all we
because
got.
She summed it all up. Sway and I and Tracy have shared this before. We spent time as full-time artists. You know, it can get at your spirit.
Ooh, yes.
It can get at your spirit.
And what does it do for you? What part of your spirit is most rocked? Have me as a guest host, y'all.
Like this. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I didn't like feeling so insecure. It was the insecurity. It's knowing that God has given you gifts and talents, and you spent so much time trying to develop that and fighting at every single stage of it. And then you go home and somebody writes, and I know that's a part of it, but they can write something. You've worked 5 years on a project and say something, and then it's how you look. And then maybe you're dealing with a death or something on a personal, or even your own personal illnesses as women. And then you have to get out on that stage and perform. And she looked busted. She looked ugly. She didn't sound like this. This guy doesn't like you. This executive. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my soul. Right. It just wasn't worth it.
And that's
so
just speak to him.
And for some reason, music in particular, the music business does it more than any other industry.
And that is so. I'm sorry, and I know this is probably like a way deeper conversation, but for the guests that are listening, let me tell you, we having real talk. Yeah. The same thing that she said, the first word was insecurity. The first thing I thought of was never feeling good enough. Right. And the music business, even when I was a teenager, in 3OW, the constant judgment and never feeling good enough, I was freed from that when I left the music. I literally feel like I was saved by God's grace because I could have been, when I knew Aaron Carter. I was on tour with NSYNC and on the TRL. So when I see people who have fallen, really down to the depths, and some of them have lost their lives in this music business, I think, oh my gosh, that could have been me. Like really, being kicked out, being treated, told you're not pretty, told you're not good enough. Oh, you need to lose weight, you need to gain weight, you're skinny, everything you can imagine.
Your eyelash got an eyelash. Like what the fuck are you doing?
But even though I'm under that same scrutiny today, I feel like because as an actor, like you said, I don't get into like even the drama with different, because it's about the work. Yeah. I'm like, you could say what you want. I wore one dress one day, I think it was on Terror, and they were like, oh, Naturi Naughton's still losing the baby weight. And it's just like, okay, so that's what you saw, but I'm talking about literally the final season of Power and the fact that I've been a black woman who's successful and had a show for 10 years. That's what you see? Yeah. But okay, so it's sometimes I just can't lose my spirit. And the last thing is your joy. Because if you can't be joyous in your work, like you seem so joyous. Every time I come up here, I just have to say, Sway, and all of you, and the ladies too, I just really feel like there's a joy in this room. Yeah. And when there is joy, when you sit at this mic and you get a chance to ask great questions, thoughtful questions, okay? It says that you are joyous when you come to work. Yes. So your joy shines and literally is penetrating through this microphone, and people feel it. This show, Sway in the Morning, is not just about a morning show. It's about an opportunity to give people the joy that you feel. And then they riding and listening and they feel that joy. So thank y'all for what you do.
Jesus, man, hand me some tissue, Tracy. I
can't. He is literally tearing up. There is a little glossiness in his eyes, people.
No, it's funny because when Naturi walked in, she said, how y'all been? And I said, sis, you know what's crazy? Before you walked in here, we've been talking all morning about staying spiritually grounded and how important it is. Every Thursday, we do a segment called Good News Thursday, where people call up and share their testimonies. We play our inspirational music, and you hear both of you here on the perfect day. So God bless both of y'all. Thank you.
Naturi, we're proud of you.
Yes.
That just meant
we need you.
I need a tissue. This is Tissue Thursday. Tissue Thursday. Sniffle. Tissue Thursday.
What can we see? What can we expect next from you?
Ooh, me as a director, y'all.
Come on.
Be ready and be prepared.
Okay.
Yes, no. I really love directing. I directed my first short film with, co-produced by me and Take Two Entertainment. It's called 333. It will be in festivals in 2025.
Okay.
So look out. It's actually a commentary on a black woman played by Burgundy Baker from The Chi, who is dealing with the aftermath of choosing to have an abortion and the struggle of of, with women's rights and feeling like so many people are judging us and politicizing the issue and not really keeping it about the humanity of the struggle. Anyway, 333 is my first directorial short film debut.
All right, better go. Let's work.
And it was hard work.
Yes,
and
it
my
was.
husband, again, to the point you made, he saw my dreams, and it's like, the championship, and I couldn't win this championship without you, babe. So
I really
thank you
appreciate
for
that.
making
Yeah,
that
man.
dream come true.
Man.
So, we
The-
got that coming. What else? What we got?
I mean,
you
just our production slate.
Just
all the movies
continue
we're
to
trying to
produce.
produce, and
Yeah.
I think you're gonna direct a couple more movies next year. And
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm excited.
We're
Give it up for the
excited.
Lewis family, man. Come on, I like that.
Amen.
Cool, thank you, bro.
No problem.
I
brother.
appreciate
Thank
you, man.
I appreciate you. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
Naturi, you know I love that.
I adore you.
I adore
And
you.
thank you for supporting me since a little girl. I
Since
have
a
never
child.
been in a room that you didn't acknowledge me, see me. Oh, gosh.
Yes, absolutely. I've always seen what's special about you. You exude that even when you was a young Naturi. You have to understand, I've known her since she was a little woman.
Way back.
Way back.
God is good,
And I'm glad that your experience with me has been as such.
Yes.
Because it's important to me, especially when
Amen.
people come into the industry and they see a pillar or somebody who's been in it for a long time.
And we've all admired you and watched
Right.
you.
And
so
I want to greet you well.
Yeah.
It's like a welcoming.
You
right?
always have.
And I'm going to always be here. I've been here a long time for a reason on God's
Ooh.
purpose, right?
Say that,
Man.
Sway. Say
yeah.
that.
So,
Whew.
It really just came to me. So you provide a safe space.
He does.
Yeah,
You
this
know,
is the
you
safest
provide
I've
a
felt.
safe space for a lot of people.
and we'll continue
Take
to do
off the
that, all
glasses.
right?
That's a blessing.
Get
Thank
Naturi
y'all.
some tissue, somebody.
Tissue glasses. Y'all, I had some glasses on. I had to take the glasses off. I love
That's
it.
beautiful,
No,
man.
it's been amazing.
Make sure y'all watch it. Power Book 2 Ghosts. Come on, man.
Let's go. Let's go.
Final season.
Final season.